base. I don't think there's any question about that. I think the issue that I think all of us have been wrestling with throughout the last 4 or 5 months is the degree to which he has a ceiling. And as this race narrows, what that means for him. When you look at the nature of his support, we did a poll with ABC a week ago, 47% of Republicans favor deportation and oppose bringing Syrian refugees into the United States. 51% of them support Donald Trump. So that's the nature of what he has, and the others continue to try to chip away at it, but so far it hasn't had much effect.
Hasn't had much effect. What can they do differently? What is their debate internally? The establishment says we have to get Trump because he's so dangerous. 63 days from now, Iowa votes.
And so far, in some ways, it's been, sort of just let Trump fall on his own, sort of gaffes and insults. That hasn't worked. And so now you see people like Jeb Bush, people like Chris Christie talking about, well, serious times call for serious people. The problem with that is they've been saying that all along. It doesn't seem like it's shaping up to be a resume election. If you look back at past elections, George W. Bush, he had a pretty good resume, but people don't necessarily think he was great in terms of the war on terror and the war in Iraq. So it's a very difficult argument to make. And I think the other thing about Trump, what makes him so powerful, is he knows his base. He knows his audience. And the other folks like Jeb Bush, like Chris Christie, they don't know they don't have the same sort of rhetoric, and they're not able to connect with folks in the same way.
There is a lot of growing concern on the establishment side in particular. If you look at some of this, that he will have an impact on down-ticket candidates. Kelly Ayotte in New Hampshire, Rob Portman in Ohio. At a point when it's going to be tough for Republicans to hold the Senate, there's sort of a grappling with what happens if Donald Trump is at the top of the ticket, and how does that impact all of our other races? How they do that, we're starting to see, I guess, with John Kasich, his super PAC going after him, Bush going after him directly, but it's not had a great effect so far.
You'd have to add up. If you add up Jeb Bush, Chris Christie, John Kasich, Carly Fiorina, and Marco Rubio, you get to Trump in New Hampshire. You have to add up 5 candidates to get equal to him in New Hampshire. But none of them are going to drop out. I think part of the conventional thinking was, would some of them just drop out as we get there? But they all think at some point there's going to be this, I call it the NASCAR theory. Someone's going to take Trump into the wall. There's going to be this spectacular crash, and you want to be the guy who's just safe enough back not to get caught up in it, and there's your moment. Will that person be Bush? Will it be Kasich? Or will it be Chris Christie, who wakes up this morning to a union leader endorsement in the state of New Hampshire? If you go to New Hampshire, people say, he's not in it, but he's not out of it. There's a little bit of momentum. He seems to be getting some traction. And New Hampshire does have a history, a la John McCain, of hang around, and then can you rock it around the holidays? The union leader says this: for our safety and for our future, they endorse him. They say, Governor Christie is right for these dangerous times. He's prosecuted terrorists and dealt admirably with major disasters. But the one reason he may be best suited to lead during these times is because he tells it like it is. I thought that was Trump's place in the race, right? This is part of Christie's problem all along, is that we thought he was going to be the larger-than-life personality in the race, and then along came Trump. But it doesn't hurt, right?
Oh, no. I mean, this is definitely very good news for Chris Christie. This also comes on the heels of him getting some important endorsements in New Hampshire. And New Hampshire is kind of his lifeblood. Where else is Chris Christie going to win in these early contests? So if he can keep this momentum going, Chris Christie's alive and well, and, we're probably going to see more of him. And New Hampshire is more of a natural fit for him.
But now do the other establishment candidates start going after Christie? Is Trump still up here? He's still up here, and they're all down here.
I think that at this point, some will go after Trump. I think they will wait to see how this begins to sort out, and I don't think you'll see them going after each other much, with the exception of Rubio and Cruz, who already have engaged. But for the rest of them at this point, I think they still think that the best thing for them is to work their own message day in and day out, and to begin to try to make the connection that Jackie's talking about with enough voters so that at the moment when people are making their decision, and we're still a ways away from that, they're in the right spot.